Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, firefighters in Harrisville had some help putting out a few fires today, and that help came from children. Plus, despite the dreary weather, more than 700 people gathered at Fletcher Street Brewing Company yesterday to walk and run for a good cause. And you could feel the fall spirit in the air yesterday as families in Cummins came together to pick pumpkins and have some fun. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
The Harrisville City Township Fire Department hosted an open house today to kick off Fire Safety Week. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. From 1 to 4, children and their families could come to the Harrisville Fire Department to learn everything they needed to know about how to act in the case of a fire. A smoke trailer was set up for kids to go into and learn how to react in a room full of smoke. Children could also spray a fire hose, see how a water filling truck operates, and check out firefighting gear.
It's awareness and just another thing that they can see and know how to act in an emergency.
Instructor Roger McNeil put on a fire extinguisher demonstration. He taught children the differences between fire extinguishers and how to use them. Most household fire extinguishers have the letters A, B, and C on them, which signify the types of fires they are able to put out. A stands for common combustibles such as wood and paper, B stands for flammable combustibles such as gas, and C stands for live electrical equipment like computers. McNeil would then light a small fire and let the kids use an extinguisher to put it out. Fire Chief Randall Goodman said open houses like this are important to teach awareness. He said Fire Prevention Week started in the 19th century after the Great Chicago Fire that started on October 8th in 1871. Think Pink wine is back on sale at Stony Acres Winery. For the third year in a row, Stony Acres has crafted a Think Pink wine to support breast cancer awareness. Co-owner Helen Grahowski wanted to use her family-owned business to help the Zonta Club of Alpena raise money for women who cannot afford mammograms. Through permission granted by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, all proceeds from the sale of the Think Pink wine bottles is donated to the Zonta Club for their breast cancer awareness cause. During Stony Acres' first year of the Think Pink wine, they bottled 120 bottles of it and sold out in 2 weeks, so they decided to make more. This year there are 240 bottles of the wine available and a waiting list has already been started. It can be purchased for $20 a bottle. This year the Think Pink bottles have a new label design as well. If you are interested in purchasing a bottle, you can call or visit Stony Acres Winery on Truckee Road in Alpena. And crowds gathered at the Fletcher Street Brewing Company yesterday for the 7th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk and 5K Run. The Zonta Club of Alpena sponsors this event to create awareness about the importance of early detection of breast cancer. All funds raised will be donated to provide mammograms at the Alpena Regional Medical Center to those who can't afford the life-saving diagnostic. The run began at 9:30 yesterday morning and walkers took off a half hour later. Spirits didn't seem to be dampened despite the rainy weather.
We are so grateful to our community for the support of this event. It's really heartwarming to see people come together for such a common cause, and to see this done in our community, and that all the money raised here stays here to help women that we know and love.
Awards were presented after the race, including prizes for the teams, businesses, and individuals who raised the most money in donations. Last year, the Zonta Club raised more than $33,000. The club does not yet know how much money was raised this year as pledges and donations continue to come in. According to the number of shirts given away, the number of participants exceeded 750. More than 600 people walked through the doors of Besser Museum yesterday for the Fall Harvest Fossil Fest from 12 to 4. The event has been going on for several decades but has gotten bigger throughout the years. Thanks to sponsorship from Lafarge and Specification Stone Quarries, it is a free family fun day. Executive Director of the museum, Chris Witolski, says it's all about educating people on their culture and heritage.
The goal out of the event is to get people into the museum to see what all is here. We are art, history, science, and this is the one time that we open up all of the historic buildings. We open up the avenue of shops. we get all the demonstrators in and they're educating about some of the skills and the arts that were from way past.
Not only do guests get to learn about the past, but see what is going on in the Alpena community today. There were bus tours to Lafarge and Specification Stone, local quarries that many people never get a chance to see. Back at the museum, there were all kinds of activities inside and outside. Paleo Joe was in the fossil park, rope makers were in the basement, and there were interpretations in all of the historic buildings. 8th grade volunteer Robert Lutman was one of many volunteers who really knew what he was talking about.
This would be the actual size of the Cooper shop, and that's pretty small for a shop. And in 1882, they shipped 966 tons of fish over to other places.
Organizers said this may have been the most people the museum has ever seen in one day. The feeling of fall was in the air at the Cummins Pumpkin Festival, which took place yesterday at the Skyline Event Center near Cummins. After a friend told Township Supervisor Kenneth Troyer that he had to go all the way to Indian River to take a picture of a pumpkin patch, Troyer decided something needed to be done about that. And so this year, the Cummins Pumpkin Festival began.
The goal is to have family fun. That's the whole thing. Like to break even if we can.
The pumpkin patch was filled with families choosing which pumpkins they were going to take home. It was $2 a pumpkin, 3 pumpkins for $5. In the first hour, they sold about 400 pumpkins. In addition to picking pumpkins, there was a tree sale, crafts, concessions, hay rides, and more. This was the first year for the festival, but Troyer says it will not be the last. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, Detroit's emergency manager speaks on the factors that will have to be considered as Detroit tries to emerge from bankruptcy. Plus, investors in Washington have more than just the shutdown to worry about. A bigger concern may be the debt ceiling debate. All that and more after the break. Welcome back. In state news, Detroit Emergency Manager Kevin Orr told civic and community leaders gathered at Motor Center Casino that the manner in which Detroit eventually will emerge from the largest municipal bankruptcy in American history will have to factor in the needs of creditors, retirees, and 700,000 Detroit residents who are not receiving the level of services they need. Orr also noted at the Detroit Economic Club luncheon that Detroit faces up to $5.7 billion in unfunded retiree health care obligations. He is embroiled in a struggle with city unions and pensioners over the fate of the city's 2 pension systems, which he says are underfunded by $3.5 billion. Pension board members and union officials bitterly dispute the figure and are fighting in court to prevent cuts in pension benefits to Detroit's 23,500 retirees. In all, Orr says Detroit's debts and liabilities exceed $18 billion. Orr also urged Detroit residents to stand up against voices of division and opposition, saying most residents understand that Detroit cannot continue as it has and that wrenching changes are necessary to ensure a better future. And now it's time for some of today's top financial stories with your Money Watch. 2 big defense contractors are furloughing workers because of the government shutdown. Lockheed Martin will temporarily stop employing 3,000 employees beginning this week, while United Technologies will furlough 2,000 workers. Both companies say they will have to furlough more workers each week if the shutdown continues. Wall Street remains focused on Washington and not just the shutdown. The bigger concern for investors is the debt ceiling debate. If Congress fails to raise the country's debt limit by October 17th, the U.S. will not be able to pay its bills. That could freeze the credit markets, send interest rates up, and push the economy back into a recession. Many economists believe all the political uncertainty makes it very unlikely the Federal Reserve will taper its economic stimulus program at this month's policy meeting. Investors will turn their attention to earnings now that the government won't be releasing economic reports because of the shutdown. On the calendar this week, Alcoa and Yum Brands, which owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. And GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.34 at Seymour's. The lowest is at $3.24 at Admiral. Across the state, the highest gas price is $3.99 in Grosse Isle. The lowest price for gas in Michigan is at $3.04 in Lambertville. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Shannon McGrattan will be in with a look at sports, and I'll be right back with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. It is time now for a look at the weather. The high today was 70 degrees. The normal high for October 6th is 60 degrees, so we were higher for this time of year. The record high for this day was 86 degrees back in 1963. The low today was 59 degrees, the normal low 39, so we were higher for this time of year. The record low for this day was 22 degrees back in 1958. The sunrise this morning was at 7:39 and the sunset tonight around 7:05. The current temperature in Alpena is 61 degrees. It feels like it's about 58 degrees with 86% humidity. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, we can see precipitation over Alpena right now. It looks like most of that is moving to the east of us, so hopefully some more sunny days this week. Tonight, showers, low of 50 degrees, west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, showers are again likely, mostly cloudy. A high of 53 degrees. It will be pretty breezy with west winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow night's looking to be partly cloudy with a low of 44 degrees, west winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast, it looks like that rain has passed us by. Tuesday should be mostly sunny, high of 61 degrees. We're going to be sunny up until Thursday, where we're going to hit a high for the week of 69 degrees, and then back partly cloudy on Saturday, high of 67 degrees. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Jenny LaBelle. She took this picture at Tequamanon River. It was taken on a riverboat tour on the way to Tequamanon Falls. The sunshine glistening on the water and all the different colors of leaves on the trees make this such a beautiful scene. Thank you, Jenny, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. And now it's time for some of today's top medical stories with your Health Watch. Doctors at Vanderbilt University say 74% of ICU patients develop delirium during their stay, making them more likely to develop a dementia-like disease after discharge. The study included patients who had no history of memory problems when they went into the hospital. Researchers say ICU recovery should include rehabilitation that exercises the brain, and patients should be taken off sedatives as soon as possible. Refusing vaccines may be partially to blame for the 2010 outbreak of whooping cough in California. There were some 9,000 cases, and a study in the journal Pediatrics found the infection was most common in communities where a lot of parents refused whooping cough vaccine for their children. And walking an hour a day may help lower the risk of breast cancer. A large new study from the American Cancer Society found moderate recreational activity was associated with a 14% lower risk in postmenopausal women. High physical activity was associated with a 25% lower risk. In national news, a dramatic multi-car wreck at the IndyCar in Houston sends one popular driver to the hospital and injures fans in the grandstand. CBS's Teresa Garcia takes a look at the crash.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. That is a horrifying ride for Dario Franchitti.
Dario Franchitti's car became airborne in Turn 5 at the Grand Prix of Houston. The four-time IndyCar champion made contact with Takuma Sato's car, leaving the roadway and hitting the fence. A third car then hit Sato's.
Thinking of Dario, hopefully he's okay. You know, that was a big hit.
This amateur video shows the fence shaking and fans ducking when the impact occurred.
The fence.
A large portion of fencing flew into the grandstand along with debris from the car wreck. Road crews rushed to the crash site. Franchitti was hospitalized with 2 fractured vertebrae, a fractured right ankle, and a concussion.
Somebody's hurt.
13 fans were also hurt. 2 of them were taken to the hospital.
We come here to race, we come here to put on a great show, and nobody, you know, we don't want to see anybody get hurt.
And IndyCar officials suffered minor injuries. The race promoter and IndyCar released a joint statement saying fan and driver safety is their top concern. The crash is under investigation. Teresa Garcia, CBS News.
Franchitti is separated from his wife, actress Ashley Judd. She tweeted shortly after the crash, thanking people for their prayers. Well, sports is coming up next, but first, Shannon McGrattan is here with a preview of what's ahead. Shannon.
The Street Cats are on fire so far this season, winning their first 2 games. I'll show you how they did this afternoon. And Detroit heading to Wisconsin today, trying to carry its momentum from the past 2 weeks. Stay right here on WBKB for all that and more as your news continues. The Alpena Street Cats have put on quite a show for the home crowd the past 2 nights, winning both games by 3 or more goals. This afternoon, the Cats hoping to sweep their first series of the season, but would have to do so with 2 players on the injured list. Alpena on the power play. Savelli Skarikin slap shooting this one in. Street Cats up 1-0. Tied game at the end of the second. Steven Smoltz hitting this one right through the legs of Uladislav Gratuski. Blaze now up 2-1. At the start of the third, Andrei Kiselov redirecting the puck, making it 2-2. And a little bit later, Andrei Janovic giving Alpena its second lead of the game right out of the faceoff. Street Cats stopping the Blaze offense the rest of the third, sweeping the series with today's 4-2 victory.
Our goal was to come out and win 3 games, and we did that. Today was a little hectic. We battled back through all the adversity, and it was a great win for us.
It feels good to represent Alpena. It really does. For a winning team, it feels amazing.
The Lions' last road win against the Packers was back in December 1991, making a win at Lambeau Field today that much sweeter. David Ackers putting the Lions on the board at the end of the second, 6-3 Green Bay going into the second half. Aaron Rodgers ending the third in style, finding James Jones for an 83-yard score. Packers taking the 16-3 lead. Green Bay now up 19 at the end of the fourth. Matthew Stafford connecting with Chris Durham. Lions getting their first TD of the game, but it would be their last, losing 22-9 today. The team heads to Cleveland next week. Down in Ann Arbor yesterday afternoon, the Wolverines putting on a show for their homecoming crowd. Devin Gardner had 7 turnovers in his previous 2 games, but was 13 of 17 for 235 yards in yesterday's 42-13 win, improving Michigan's home game winning streak to 18.
Like we always say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. You know, it's a jug game. It's our homecoming game. There's a lot going on, and this game will be behind us after tomorrow when we watch the film. So we're just looking forward to getting an opportunity to head to Happy Valley.
I mean, no turnovers, had 2 penalties. So I think that speaks to how these guys have really worked in the bye week.
The battle of the pitchers not ending in Detroit's favor last night. Justin Verlander had 11 strikeouts in the 7 innings he pitched, while Oakland's Sonny Gray had 9 through 8 innings. The Athletics taking game 2 last night in the bottom of the 9th, tying the series at 1 game apiece.
I got to give Gray a lot of credit. I mean, he was everything as advertised. We're not swinging the bats maybe the way we're capable, but you can't take anything away from that performance tonight. He was tremendous. So, you know, we'll go home and hopefully get the bats going a little bit.
When it rains, it pours and opens doors. And yesterday, Whittemore Prescott welcomed 6 other teams to its all-day volleyball invitational. Mayo and Tawas volleying it out early in the day. 3-point game at the start of set 1. Bolt's Whitney Kahn unable to get the block, allowing Leslie Osman to find the open space. 10-6 Mayo. Tawas with 2 straight points. Hannah Corley making it 3 with 1 of her 7 kills. The Bolts able to get the win in the first set, but in the second, it's Corley doing work again, shutting down Katie LaFleur this time. But for match point, LaFleur getting the best of Corley's Braves. Thunderbolts winning set 2, 25-18, striking down Tawas in both sets. The home team Cardinals playing the Owls in their second match yesterday. Whittemore Prescott up 5 points in set 1. Megan Warner keeping this one right inside the line, extending the Cards' lead. Owls down 2 towards the end. Oscoda's top assister Carly Brown to Lauren Skidmore. Oscoda taking set 1, 25-21. Same story in set 2. WP extending their lead. Finding the open space is Emily Hickman, making it 17-all. Asia Frey easily blocking Brittany Hasty, allowing the Owls to get the last 5 straight points, winning this match 2-0. Onaway hosting a tournament of its own yesterday. The Cardinals winning in 2 sets against the Tigers, but going on to lose in the championship game to Boyne City, ending their 7-year tournament winning streak. And in community college volleyball, Alpena headed to Garden City this weekend. The Lumberjacks won in 5 sets Friday, but were unable to get a win yesterday, falling in 7 sets to lose both matches. So not a really good sports weekend for Detroit fans. The Lions lost, the Tigers lost, the Red Wings lost. But Tigers are back tonight on home turf, so tomorrow night, Monday. So hopefully they can get a win.
Hopefully they can.
We'll have 2 games at home, and they need to get best of 5. So
okay, and then the Lions against Cleveland next weekend. So
yes, 1 o'clock.
Hopefully they'll pull off a victory.
Hopefully, yeah. They had 2 really big wins. You know, they ended that drought against the Redskins. So I was hoping they would do that today, but 22 years of not winning on the road.
Well, the Street Cats did well, right?
Yeah, they swept.
So back here in Alpena, at least.
Exactly. You know, everyone was so excited because it was a tied game going into the 3rd, and then they got 2 goals in the 3rd. So it was really fun. Yeah.
Good. Well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, the Olympic flame arrived in Moscow today. Find out what will make Russia's torch relay so unique when we return. Welcome back. Well, the Olympic flame arrived in Moscow today, carried in a lantern and specially decorated in the colors and logos of the 2014 Olympic Games. A Russian honor guard consisting of all of the branches of the Russian armed services greeted the flame that traveled from Greece on its eventual way to the Games in February. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Kozak, who emerged from the plane carrying the flame in a lantern, said Russia's Olympics planning had unified the country. He said today is a symbolic day for everyone, which quite possibly may turn out to become a historic date. Russia, for the first time in its history, is receiving one of the most important, well-known symbols in the world, the Olympic flame. And Kozak is proud that the Russian torch relay will be unique. It will last 123 days, carried by 14,000 torchbearers. After the brief airport ceremony, the flame headed to Red Square, where President Vladimir Putin will use it to light the Olympic relay torch. According to the organizing committee, the Olympic flame will not only travel by torchbearers, but also by car, train, plane, reindeer, and dog sleds, bicycle and snowcat, as well as sleighs, carts, and snowmobiles, a combine harvester, carriage, and camel. So,
I'm tired
everywhere.
Listening to you say that. You said dog sled. I think you said cat
camel,
sled. What is
camel,
a cat
combine
sled?
harvester. You know, I'm not even exactly sure, but it will be traveling on a cat sled.
For 123 days.
14,000 different people will have the torch.
Oh my goodness.
So
why
obviously
aren't we one of those
a big
14,000
I don't know.
people?
It sounds like fun.
We should have gotten a call. I want to go. Remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
And that will do it for tonight's show. Be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian here tomorrow morning on 11.3. Have a wonderful night.